everyone, MSRNDA 2007 here, and in this episode of Radios in Depth, which is going to be the final episode of Season 1, I am going to be reviewing Midland's first portable radio with a screen, and that radio is the Midland 74250C. So with that being said, here we go with our review. So like I usually do, before I get into any of the features and specifications, I am going to give a general overview of the radio. So as you can see here on the front, we have the Midland branding up on top, along with a tricolor LED. Then we have our screen, which displays the temperature up top, and also the status of no other radio. Over here, whether you have it set to display or tone, or if you have the broadcast on. And then down here displays assortment of things. Normally you have it just on this display where it shows the time and day of the week. Then it has the date, which this is year 2000 compliant. I believe this radio came out in 1999. Or no, 2000. Came out in 2000 because the startup date is January 1st, 2000. Then, here we have alarm 1. This will show what time you have set at, and if you have it off. And then, this is alarm 2. This does have 2 alarms. Which is kind of rare on a portable radio, handheld / portable. Then press the mode button again, you go back to the time display. So yeah, and then down here you have 2 buttons. You have the mode button, which cycles through what you want displayed, time, date, alarm 1, alarm 2, and then back to the time and day of the week display. The set button, you press and hold this to set the time, whether you want 12 or 24 hour time, and also if you want it to display the temperature in Fahrenheit or Celsius, or as some people call it, centigrade. Go ahead and set on Fahrenheit. And then down here we have the speaker. And then on the left side of the radio we have our 2 inputs and outputs, or I/O. So we have a charge port for charging the radio or powering the radio. You can power this off of 6 volts AC, or I'm sorry, 6 volts DC. So yeah, so you can't use a standard Midland power supply. You have to use a 6 volt one. In fact, if you were to make a custom USB cable with like an old broken Midland power cord with the same port as the same barrel connector as the DeBer 100 and HH54 uses, and you were to hook it onto a USB cable that the connector is screwed up on, or whatever may be the case, if you figure out which wires are positive, which ones are negative, and then you don't need a ground. Then, if you know what you're doing, you can make a USB power cord. I actually did make a USB power cord for this, and it did work, but unfortunately, the positive negative wires connected, and I think it killed the power circuit on this, as far as this port goes. But anyways, on top, you have your audio out. Of course, in the standard 3.5mm standard. That's the standard on everything. So, yeah. At least on quite a few consumer electronics, it's 3.5mm. I think there are a few consumer electronics that use the 1/4" jack, like professional audio equipment stuff use, but for the most part, you'll find that it's going to be 3.5mm. And then there's this nice rubber grip down here, and you can tell that this is meant for right-handed use. So, yeah. Then on the right side, you have your up and down button. This is for controlling the volume, selecting channels, and putting in your SAME codes. This can store up to 9 SAME codes. So, yeah. On the back of the radio, you have where the belt clip would go. Mine did not come with it. I got this used on eBay. And it did not come with a belt clip. So, unfortunately, I won't be able to demonstrate that. Then you have Midland 74250, made in China. You have your serial number down here, and then your FCC labeling you see on a lot of radios. And then down here is your battery compartment, which we'll get into that later. Then on top, you have the antenna, which typically can be removed. Well, at least on this one, it's lightly glued in there. It's not that big of a deal. Then also you have your snooze/function button. Press and hold this. This will do things with no other radio. So that turns on the broadcast. So that's what it looks like when no other radio is on. Broadcast is playing. Then that's when it's on tone mode, or actually I think voice mode, I'm not sure. That's when it's on display mode. And then press and hold it. And then when it's like that, no other radio is not on and you won't receive any alerts whatsoever. So, yeah, and then on the bottom, you have the thing for the battery compartment latch and 2 plastic feet. So, yeah, the first thing I'm going to get into on this radio, actually is going to be the antenna, because you can't test the siren on this. And, while there are recordings of the siren on this, there's 3 different sirens. There's a warning, watch, advisory / statement siren, and a test siren. All I can say is that the test siren sounds similar to the statement / test siren on the Radio Shack 12250. So that gives you a general idea. So yeah, and then this has no button beeps. So the first thing I'm going to get into, like I said, will be the antenna. So that being said, let's get into that. So the antenna here on the Midland 74250C. This has a fixed antenna, like most radios. This isn't like the Vector VC438, which you saw in episode 8, I believe, that has a extendable antenna. This one's fixed into the radio. Well, it's supposed to be. With this one, the glue's dried off and it comes off, but that's not that big of a deal. And actually, that gives me a good opportunity to let you see what's inside. So there's where the antenna connects in. It doesn't screw on; it just comes off. It's lightly glued in. You may be able to see in there, but it's a spring. It's a spring antenna. So, yeah. Now, one thing I will warn you about, luckily it hasn't happened to this one. I have not really taken this out and stuff, but supposedly this rubber coating has been known to wear off and the spring be exposed. I think with can't remember who it was, but they put black duct tape around it in order to not have the spring exposed. So yeah. Anyways, so yeah, the antenna, pretty good, kind of flexible. So yeah. Anyways, so the next thing I'm going to get into will be the reception. So yeah, that being said, let's get into that. Now keep in mind, it's only going to be indoor reception because, I mean, you can see what time it is. Well, that's lightly said. That's like a 30 to 45 seconds ahead. But yeah, you can see what time it is. So it's only going, and I want to get this episode done as soon as possible. So, only going to be indoor reception. So yeah, anyways, let's get into that. So, indoor reception on the Midland 74-250C. So, try and know on the radio.
It was partly cloudy.
Obviously, WXK85.
In Denver, it was cloudy with a temperature of 60. Once again at midnight at Oklahoma City, it was mostly cloudy.
Then also press up here.
Was 76. The following is your hazardous
You
weather
should be able to
outlook.
change the channel.
This hazardous weather outlook is for portions of northern, western, central, and southern Oklahoma
No,
and western North Texas. Day one,
Oh yeah, you did like this, and then
thunderstorms.
this is how you say your same code. So 1 is 999999. That's the all counties code.
Strong gusty winds will be possible with these storms. Additional thunderstorm development may occur tonight behind a cold front across roughly the northern
So,
half of Oklahoma.
and then also you can store up to 9.
7, Monday through
So have
Saturday.
1 is 999999. Channel 2 is
Across much of the area. The greatest
also 9999.
strong to severe thunderstorms
Well, that
will be
didn't sound
Monday
good.
afternoon, generally southeast of a line from Shawnee to Duncan to Wichita Falls.
I need to try and change the channel.
Southeast Oklahoma.
After I'm,
Large
I
hail
want to
up to
modify
ping-pong
it.
ball size and damaging wind gusts.
And then also, this is how you select your channel. So, channel 2, obviously nothing. Channel 3, bleed through from WXK5. Very bad bleed through. And let me try to fix this tripod mount. There we are. So nothing on channel 3. I want to redo that code, because that's supposed to be 0 4 0 1 9. Then channel 2, channel 3, nothing. Channel 4, nothing. Channel 5,
Highs in the upper 90s. Thursday night.
more bleed through. Oh, it's still on channel.
Friday night. Partly chance of thunderstorms. Lows in the upper 60s. Saturday. Partly cloudy with a 40% chance of thunderstorms.
More bleed through.
Not as warm. Highs in the lower 80s. Saturday night, mostly clear with a 30% chance of thunderstorms. Lows in the lower 60s.
More bleed through. Channel 7.
The wind was south At 6. Observation.
KJY95.
It was 76 at Muskogee. It was clear with a temperature of 77 in Ardmore and 85 at Dallas Fort Worth. In Tulsa, it was partly cloudy with a temperature of 84. In Oklahoma City, it was mostly cloudy with a temperature of 76. Once again at midnight, in Shawnee, it was clear.
Yeah, that's KJY95.
From the Norman Forecast Office, here is the forecast for Winona, Pocono, Collinsville, and surrounding areas. It was partly cloudy with a temperature of 84. In Denver,
So, yeah. So, the next thing I'm going to get into, this thing doesn't have AM, FM. I guess I'll get into the alarm clock. So with that being said, here we go with that. So the alarm clock function here on the Midland 74250C. I've never actually used this thing on alarm clock. So you press and hold it. I'm going to set this for 0. $39. Oh, it is 049. We'll do 040. So, yeah, go ahead and cover the speaker in case it's loud. I've never used it. So there we are. That was actually kind of enjoyable. Go and set this back at the default time. There we are. So yeah, the next thing I'll get into, I guess, will be the ways of powering the radio. I can't demonstrate the temperature sensor because it only does the temperature that of the room, which since it's been in my hands, it's quite warm. So yeah. Anyways, so the next thing I'm going to get into will be the ways of powering it. So with that being said, let's get into that. So the ways of powering the Midland 74250C, and this thing softlocked itself when the batteries fell out. I'm redoing this because I did wrong. Anyways, so the primary way of powering is via 2 AA batteries, which you can use rechargeables. You can actually recharge batteries in this thing with the power adapter, but I've just got alkalines in there at the moment. Normally I use Rayovac rechargeables, but they're on the charger right now in preparation for severe weather this evening. Then also you have a 6-volt DC jack, which was discussed in the general overview, so I'm not actually going to get into that. So yeah, now to get into the final thoughts of the Midland 74250C. So with that being said, let's get into that. So, final thoughts. / general opinion on the Midland 74-50C. Now, this is actually being refilmed. I'm actually in the middle of editing the video right now, but I looked at the final thoughts segment, and I didn't really feel like it was that good, and that it shouldn't be in the final video, so I decided to go and refilm it. But anyways, overall, it's a pretty good radio. Do I recommend you get a first ever weather radio? Yes and no. The reason why I say yes is because it gets okay reception. Not the best, but you should be able to get your main station. It does have a temperature sensor and 2 alarms, which is actually highly unusual for a portable radio. Which, surprisingly, the HH54 didn't have that. In fact, no Midland portable / handheld radio has had 2 alarms since. In fact, the only portable / handheld radio that came out after this that even had an alarm clock function was the HH54. Well, also the EH55, which is basically just a rebranded HH54. It only had 1 alarm, but this has 2. Which actually, back in the year 2000, that was actually kind of unusual for a radio that actually has a digital screen. But also, it has a temperature sensor. I think I already said that. And it also displays the date, which the HH54 also didn't have. In fact, none of Midland's portable radios, portable / handheld radios, have had a date display ever since this one. So, yeah. So, this is the only Midland portable / handheld radio that actually displays the date. And this is year 2000 compliant. In fact, I think it did come out in 2000. Y2K. So, yeah. Not sure when this particular one was manufactured. It doesn't have a date of manufacturer sticker on it, unfortunately, but I'm sure it is probably manufactured in 2000 or 2001. The reason why I don't recommend you get it, which it don't really affect everyone, it only affects certain people. Like if you live in like Myrtle Beach, or if you live in Florida or down in Texas, or if you live in Louisiana or Alabama, or if you live in the Carolinas, well, near the ocean in the Carolinas. Well, I already said Myrtle Beach, and if you live out in out near Long Island, I don't recommend you get this because this doesn't have, obviously, with this coming out in the year 2000. Sorry, I'm recording this at 11:16 p.m. It's late, so I do apologize once again if I stutter and stuff. I think I've already said that, but all the other segments were recorded late at night as well. I had another long day today, so yeah, I do apologize if I stutter and stuff. So yeah, anyways. So like I said, if you live in Florida, if you live in Texas, Louisiana, or Alabama near the ocean, or if you live near Long Island, I don't recommend get this because obviously with this coming on Y2K, this doesn't have the or I think typically what Y2K means year 2000 compliant, but with this coming out in the year 2000, yeah, Y2K does stand for year 2000. Anyways, with this coming out in 2000, obviously it doesn't have the two new event codes that were introduced in 2017, which those are Storm Surge Watch and Storm Surge Warning. Obviously, this doesn't have that. But I think it has Unrecognized Watch and Unrecognized Warning. But, that's not exactly the best. So, yeah, if you live in Myrtle Beach, or if you live near Long Island, or anywhere near the ocean, and you get hurricanes, well, you have the possibility of getting a hurricane. I don't recommend you get this, since it doesn't have Storm Surge Watch and Storm Surge Warning. So yeah, so it doesn't really affect everyone. It only affects people in, like, real marine areas where you can get tornadoes, like in Myrtle Beach, or Long Island, or I think that's all the marine areas. That's all the marine areas I can think of. Myrtle Beach and Long Island. But if you live, like, in Florida or something as well, if you live in Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and stuff, if your forecast office tones Storm Surge Watch and Storm Surge Warning, then I highly recommend you don't get this. I mean, you can, but I highly advise against it, since it doesn't have Storm Surge Watch and Storm Surge Warning. So yeah, but if your office doesn't tone those, or if you don't get those at all, awesome. Anyways, but if your forecast office issues them but they don't tone them, or if you don't get them at all, then you can go ahead and get it. So yeah, but if your office does tone Storm Surge Watch and Storm Surge Warning, or if they tone one of them, or they tone both of them, I don't recommend you get this. But if you know that your office doesn't tone them, if your forecast office issues them but they don't tone them, then I guess you can go ahead and get this. Or if you don't get them at all, then it's perfectly fine for you to get this. Another reason why I recommend you may or may not want to get this is because it doesn't include a power adapter in the clamshell. All that comes in the clamshell in box is, of course, obviously the radio, a hand strap, which I don't have, and then also the belt clip, which I don't have, and also the owner's manual, a no other radio channel guide, and of course the plastic clamshell and the cardboard cutout. That's all you get in the package. You don't get a power supply. So yeah, but you should be able to find one easily enough on eBay or Amazon or any of that good stuff. Any of those good places, or you may be able to even find them on places like Mauser Electronics, or DigiKey. Mauser Electronics and DigiKey are they're basically like Radio Shack, except they're online only. They don't actually have physical stores. They're online only. And you can be able to get, like, diodes, resistors, capacitors, and all that good stuff. You can even be able to get a tuning crystal that you can put in a Deburr 100 to make it work again. I plan on trying that in the future with my older version 5. The one that's dead. Well, at least has the dead tuner. But yeah. I think they sell power supplies through Mauser Electronics and DigiKey and stuff. But yeah. But you should be able to find one for this if you really want one. Just don't plug it in when you have alkalines in it. You can plug it in when there's no batteries in at all, and you can plug it in when you have rechargeables, but don't plug it in when you have alkalines installed, because if you do, the batteries will explode, and plus one of the capacitors or one of the resistors can explode, and that's going to be a whole situation that I don't think anyone wants to deal with. So yeah, anyways, thank you so much for watching this episode of Radios in Depth. As I said at the beginning, this is the final episode of Season 1. So, yeah. And overall, Season 1 has gone pretty good. Of course, there was a few technical difficulties, which that's expected, like, for example, like with the WR100 episode, Season 1, Episode 6, the WR100 version 5 episode. I had to actually refilm like half to 3/4 of the video because the SD card I was using was having technical difficulties and kept corrupting the files. Luckily, it only corrupted Radios in Depth files. It didn't corrupt any alert captures. So yeah, but that was quite annoying, and that SD card is no longer in service. It's permanently write protected. Not going to get into that. But yeah, anyways, so there's been a few technical difficulties, and also I didn't have a intro until episode 5, the ER310 episode. So yeah. But overall, still, Season 1 went pretty good. And I can't wait for Season 2. In fact, I've already started filming for Season 2. I've already filmed a Season 1, or I'm sorry, fail. Season 2, Episode 1. So, which is on another Midland radio. I'm not going to specify which one though. So yeah, anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. And let's see what Season 2 holds. Okay, so another quick edit here. I figured out who put duct tape around their 74 to 50C antenna so that the spring wasn't exposed. It was Trains and Sirens 1. In fact, you can actually see it in the radio reviews episode on the 74 to 50C. Because Beinkel, also known as Clan Ranger 143, he actually filmed the 74 to 50C episode at Trains and Sirens 1's house. And he reviewed his 74 to 50Cs, because he has 2. So, yeah, anyways, and you can actually see that both of them have duct tape surrounding the antenna so the spring isn't exposed. So yeah, just a quick little edit there. I did find out the person who has the ones that have duct tape around the antenna. Anyways, so yeah, that's it for the moment. As always, thanks for watching, and let's see what Season 2 holds.